I can hear you, and I hope you hear me as well, and that
We
you also see my screen.
we see you, we hear you, and we give you the floor.
Ah, thank you. Excellent. So, time for some lipstick first, I think. This is not actually putting on lipstick. This is actually a symbolic strategy for sustainability, for well-being. I'll get back to it later. But first, the globe has gotten smaller thanks to technology. We can work from anywhere, anytime, with anyone. Technology has gone through an evolution, but the real revolution is actually for us knowledge workers. We don't need to go to the office. We can work anywhere. And this way of working was pushed forward by the pandemic. Well, lucky the pandemic got us something good. Um, OECD is arguing that our productivity actually would gain from continuing to do hybrid work also after the pandemic. And in a recent global study with 27 countries, where the Nordic countries were part of it, people all over the world clearly said, we want to continue to work partly digital. And actually, the only interesting thing with this study was that there was a difference between men and women, and there was a difference between managers and coworkers. So more managers want people back at the office, but the coworkers want to stay more at home. Well, no wonder. In a survey I did with some colleagues, we asked 1,000 people that worked partly from home. And the most astonishing number here was that 46% said that they were less stressed when they got to work at home. So 46%, imagine the health wins in this. So hybrid work is here to stay. Get most out of the speed and efficiency in meeting digitally like we do today. Imagine if we all would have traveled. But getting back also to meet colleagues and friends, traveling for big events, traveling for conferences, which is also fantastic, of course, to not be forced to be at home. But how do we do this hybrid? Well, there are huge advantages with a more digital and flexible work. People can have more flexibility and autonomy in their work and easier to put out the life puzzle. But it also has an organizational advantage. Not only can we work and have meetings in a different way, we can organize differently. I'm sure many of you have heard about the word distributed, where companies solely work digitally and do not have an office at all. This is not for all companies, but it is interesting to learn from them and see how they work. But we could recruit more and cooperate based on competence and not on geography. So you can live on the countryside, have a couple of hens, but still have a qualified job in the city. And you can also be working for another country. I'm right now doing a study on Spotify where they've decided the work from anywhere policy, and it's really interesting. We have some interesting results. Well, there are also some more demands in hybrid flexible work. It demands a different leadership, leaders who gives lots of trust and are good communicators and good goal setters, leaders who focus on what is delivered and the well-being of their coworkers. But it also gives a lot more responsibility on the individual to structure, to prioritize, to find a work-life balance. We need to be our own leaders. According to World Economic Forum, self-management is one of the new skills on the top 10 skills for the future. So self-management, self-leadership, they're all buzzwords right now, but what do we actually know about them? Well, self-leadership is not new. Scholars started to look at this in the 80s, and it was defined by Charles Muntz. And there are many, many findings to rely on. So there are lots of evidence of good effects on self-leadership. Here are some peer-reviewed journal articles showing that self-leadership is connected to higher performance, lower stress, innovation, satisfaction, commitment to organization, and happiness. So let's start with goals. I am passionate about translating my own research and other scholarly work into practical behaviors and skills that we can use for better work and work life. And I want people to be both their own leader and boss. So I want to talk about self-leadership skills and strategies, setting goals, live like a tiger, going to the bathroom, and how you can use the lipstick method. So since 25 years, I'm a scholar in leadership and communication at Stockholm School of Economics and Karlstad University. And I've done research and education around organization, leadership, and communication with a focus on how technology changes the way we work, co-work, lead, and live. I also have a lot of personal experience in how you work digital and paperless, flexible, well-organized, and very well structured. I also have some personal interest in how you gain work and life balance when work is always within reach on your laptop and in your cell phone. So, first out, set goals. Together with some colleagues, I did a study with validated questions around well-being, performance, and self-leadership. And we could show with statistic significance that if you work on goal setting, it will lower cognitive stress and it will increase work performance. And there is a lot of studies on goals. For example, this one, which actually was performed by Charles Mons himself. And this one shows that performance is better if we create mental pictures of our goals. And if we use self-talk, if we navigate ourselves, if we talk to ourselves towards the goals. And what's interesting is that actually, if we speak out loud, it'll have a better effect. So talk to yourself when you're navigating through problem solving, and you will easier get towards the goal. Okay, this is a strange chart. I will soon explain it. In 1951, scholar Sune Carlson did a classic time study of CEOs. So he recorded all the time that a number of CEOs, what they did, with whom, for what. And he wrote the book Executive Behavior. So I took his questions, made them into an app, and this is the work life of 6 managers in 4 weeks, drawn out as one day. Some things had not changed from 1951 at all. Managers still spend most of their time, 63% actually in my study, in meetings. That's what they do. But what was interesting, most of all, is the blue line in the chart. It shows work done from home, and this was even done before the pandemic. Early morning, late evening, and look, it's even a peak at 7:30 p.m. Rather than watching a movie, hug your wife or husband, hanging with friends, managers work. Perhaps sitting in front of the tele news, checking emails. Is this the right way to go, really? So, a study presented in World Economic Forum report shows that knowledge workers spent 48 minutes per day working when they work from home during the pandemic. Imagine what you can do with 48 minutes per day during 2 years. You could have written a novel, learn how to play guitar, got to know your mom better. What do we want in life? Should work always win? Perhaps we should think of life and work goals both in shorter perspective, week, year, but also in lifelong perspective. What do I want to accomplish in the marathon race of life? And speaking of rice, tigers. Tigers are awesome. We have stuff to learn from them. This one I stole from my kid. So they run short and fast, and then they just rest, long and lazy. And it's the same for us people. It's not dangerous to run fast. It's not dangerous to work hard, but you cannot start working, go at a speed, and not come down for rest. Not even in one day. That goes for tigers, and that goes for humans as well. In our calendars, we book all things we should do and where we should be, but we also need to book recovery. Get tiger stripes. Push them over your calendar. During every day, you need short periods in there for food and rest, but also for social and interesting things. And recovery is not only rest, it's also activities to get energy. Energy can be other things for different people. Mine is choir singing. Those 2 hours every Monday night is my energy boost for the week. What's yours? And when we're stressed, we often skip the recovery parts, skip lunch, rebook the coffee with a friend. We need to think about our psychological needs just as we do with our physical needs. They cannot be postponed. Listen to the irony in this. Oh, it's really much to do now in March and April. In Easter, then I have time. That's when I can go to the toilet. The Easter break. Then I have lots of time to pee. You do not postpone going to the bathroom and taking a pee, and you cannot postpone meeting a friend, having lunch, watch the sun until next vacation or next weekend. We have to equalize psychological needs and physical needs as well. So how then do we draw a line between work and the rest of the life? Well, this is something that we have studied in years for work-life science. And in short, there are two basic strategies. You can be a separator or an integrator. You can have one phone for work and private, you're a phone integrator, or you have two. You have two phones, one for work and one for private. And neither one is good or bad. It's just different. What suits you? During a study I did in April 2020, it was clear that time and place, which has been our most common strategy to separate work and life, and it's now challenged, but it looks sort of like this. You can be orange, a total separator. You work office hours at the office. You can be blue, a total integrator. You work anytime, anywhere. You can be a combination. You can be the gray, a time separator. You work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but you sit anywhere. Or be a yellow, a plus separator. You go to a specific place to work, your office or a dedicated place at home, but it doesn't matter if it's late night or if it's Sunday. What is good is actually individual. What your work demands, what works best for you and your life situation and your daily rhythm. But we should also reflect on my strategies affecting other people's strategies. We are each other's work environment. If I'm blue, which I am, I can stress a gray or orange colleague with mails late at night. Since we now can work from anywhere, anytime, we need to think of complementing strategies in finding work-life balance. And here comes the lipstick. It's actually a current research project of mine, how people symbolically switch from work to free time. When do I know that I can get my shoulders down, that I'm done for the day, that I'm taking rest now? So this was I discovered during the pandemic because I put lipstick on every time. Okay, time to wake up, time to start working. Even though I'm still at home, the kids are everywhere. I put on my lipstick and I feel professional. And after this meeting, I would put on COSY pants. It's time to shut down for the day. So I've done focus groups and I now have over 150 people that have answered to how they work with a hybrid and how they switch work and life. And people are really creative. Here are some results. Packing away work stuff in a bag in the evening, put away the bag in the weekend, reflect in a calendar, move apps on your smartphone, take a walk around the block, drinking in another coffee mug. So what's your symbolic strategy doing work-life balance? The pandemic cracked a big myth about work life. We were forced to work from home and control over work was less. Despite that, people did not fall into eating popcorn and watching Netflix. We continue to work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lena. You made me want to live like a tiger, especially the resting part. That's a great insight. Thank you very, very much. And we have a jury member who has a question for you, Christina Dahlblom. Welcome.
Thank you, Lena, for your energy and for using data to kind of show us why this is so relevant. And I'm personally super interested in these topics. Just this morning, I read an article saying that, yes, we see all these numbers of new phenomenon due to the pandemic, but we also see companies investing in surveillance programs and apps to actually be able to see what people are doing at the home office. And the article was written in a mode that was clearly kind of not thinking this was good. Yeah. But I started thinking, is it kind of reasonable? You know, is it kind of okay that if we are working from whenever and leading ourselves, our employers could actually be surveying how we spend our time? So what's your view on this?
Yeah, I think we need to remember that it is like not a human right to work from home. Because the debate has been sort of leaning towards the co-worker side. So yes, you know, they have bought our time, they have bought our work, definitely. But what I want to challenge leaders with is to think about delivery. Does it matter if someone delivered in the same good thing in 4 hours or 7 hours? Does it matter? Or what time during the 24 hours day it was done, or where it was done? So it takes a lot of trust and a lot of working towards goals, to not having to survey your coworkers. And I think surveillance is a little bit dangerous, because it is Big Brother watches you, and it does hurt trust. Yes. So check out how it's going for your coworkers in other ways, and that is what they actually do and how they are. So how are you? How is it going? That is the new leader's most important questions.
Thank you.
Thank you to both of you, and I'm sure we're going to be debating questions like this for the years to come. Thank you ever so much.